Hello, welcome back to Love Bakudan. Okay, now it's not doing it. That's weird. I was in the menu and it wasn't like, it was like real jumpy when I was going through the settings here, or like the little menu items. I did connect a controller, which it was working, and now it's not. Well, that sucks. Oh, whatever. Guess I'll turn it off. There we go. So we left off right before she was moving back to her hometown, and after she got the inheritance from her late grandmother for the bookstore. I thought that was a good way to end it, so that's what I did. You may disagree, but too bad. I make the videos, not you. As soon as the train came to a halt, I breathed out an exhale that I'll never forget. The air was so clear here, and the noise was just so minimal. Except for the train, that was a little noisy. But... oh, character portrait. We haven't seen her character yet. Well, actually, we did, if you saw the thumbnail. That's not important. Back in Akiyama, this is surreal. Felt like my lungs instantly dispelled any and all emotional baggage. Honestly, it felt wonderful to be back. Like a weight has been lifted. Away from our parents, the prudes, I stepped off of the train with my bag swung over my shoulder and stood on the platform for a moment, soaking up the view around me. The clear blue sky, the salty scent that traveled across the air of the ocean nearby, the rolling hills full of woodlands off in the distance. All of these senses relaxed me immediately and reminded me that I really had returned to familiarity. Being here was a far cry from the constant busyness of the inner city, that's for sure. I could hear the sounds of the ocean very softly from the distance I found myself at, and listened as each crash of the waves licked along the golden sands of our shoreline. I felt like I didn't truly appreciate just how beautiful the scenery around me was before, because, you don't know what you have until you lost it, right? As I stood there, letting the gentle sea breeze envelop me, all kinds of thoughts began to flood inside my mind. I was going to see Sei again, her handsome, cheeky smile, and her infectious enthusiasm for life. Just thinking about her made me feel such an overwhelming surge of happiness. I was going to see Yuki again, too. I always thought she was so beautiful, even when we were growing up. I gotta admit, I did feel a little jealous sometimes of the delinquents she used to date. I wonder how time has been really treating the two of them over all these years. We'll find out, won't we? Honestly, listen to me. I sound like I've been gone a lifetime. But 5 years, it really is a long time. What the hell am I going to say to them? Guess I'll just think about it more later. At least one thing was for sure. And that was that Sei was going to be super excited to see me back. Felt a big grin come across my face as the thought, I really missed her so very much. Well, I guess I better start heading back home. For real this time. I chuckled to myself, shaking my head with an affectionate grin across my face, and began walking in the direction that I knew was going to become my reacquainted home. The town hadn't changed much. Well, I mean, it's only been 5 years. I guess it's not so surprising. For some reason, that really surprised me, though. Guess I'd gotten it in my head that naturally, as my own life had changed drastically, my hometown must have changed along with the times. Come back in like maybe 20 years? Yeah, maybe then. Or at the very least, with me leaving. Yeah, right. Like I'd had some big effect on this town from just leaving as a dumb teenager, right? Like I'm the glue that holds this place together. Whatever would Akiyama do without me sneaking into the local konbini, that's a convenience store by the way, with Sei and flicking through the X-rated magazines when the clerk wasn't looking? Crumble to pieces, surely. Can't help it, I have my own conceited attitude. I guess that was to be expected, though. I'd clearly brought the ego of the big city home with me. But maybe that wouldn't be such a bad thing as a newly crowned businesswoman. As I walked along the concrete sidewalks, I listened to all of the sounds that encompassed the neighborhood. There was the ever-present, somehow constant sound of a dog barking, people pulling up in their cars from a long day of work, and of course the soft chatter of people talking on their doorsteps. It was fascinating, honestly. And it was more fascinating to wonder if anyone actually recognized me as I was now, in this moment. I looked quite different compared to how I used to look back then, too, when I was younger. I had longer hair, and I wasn't quite as fit as I am at 23. I doubted any of the residents who didn't immediately know me would recognize me anymore. Continuing my walk, I noticed I was getting a couple of glances from the older women of the town. I wasn't sure what they wanted. Maybe money. But to be honest, if I had to hazard a guess, I'd say they were just interested in a new girl who looked like she was moving into town. Probably not a lot of, new people coming in every day. Despite our booming tourism, Akiyama didn't really get many long-term visitors, and usually you're just kind of passing through. The red light district was always a quick fix for most people, given, everything it stood for, obviously. But in terms of actually living here, well, now that was pretty rare. After a few gawking glances being shot my way and hushed whispers from bored old ladies gossiping, I walked all throughout the neighborhood and eventually made it into the place I was heading to all along, for entirely different reasons than the typical patrons might have been. I was finally at the red light district. Sure, it might not look like much in broad daylight, but at nighttime, that's when the red lights really come on. But the seediness that goes on here after dark is legendary enough to pull in tourists from all across the country. Foreign ones, too. Now, nothing's changed here either, huh? I figures that we're all creatures of habit when sex is concerned. I grinned to myself. It was still every bit as gaudy and bustling as I remember. This town would fall apart without it. The clientele was already beginning to pick up even in the early evening, the horny bastards. Couldn't help but laugh as I watched a bumbling 30-somethings walk inside the parlors. A gaggle of excitable, slightly drunk work colleagues piling into one of the many bars Akiyama had to offer. No matter what the nature of this place might have been, actually seeing it all bustling warmed my heart. I was glad nothing had changed. Though with that said, as I rounded the corner of the street that led up to Bakudan Books, I did see a sight that surprised me. My grandma's only rivals in town. We have a rival? A manga store that had once specialized in dirty comics had actually closed up shop. Oh, thank God. I seem to remember my grandma saying how she and the shop owner never directly butted heads, but the tension's always there, right? I mean, she never started the fights, but that owner was always real raucous with her out of jealousy. Hey, it's not my grandmother's fault. She knew how to turn a profit. Unlike you, obviously. Your boarded up windows. And it looked like she turned it hard because that vacant building was being repainted inside for whoever bought the property. The sign out front said it was going to be an antique shop of all things. That's weird. Red Tree Antique sounds kind of weird, but maybe I'll check it out at some point. Seems like the wrong area for it, but whatever. Huh, who knew? Grandma must have really been running a pretty tight ship. As I made my way along the red light district and back towards my old home, the familiar sights and sounds really took me back to being a teenager who defiantly should not have been wandering around here. This kind of place being on the shore front made for some interesting lost tourists when they stumbled here. Oh yeah, I'll tell you that. Yeah, right. Yeah, they just stumbled here. It's like Principal Skinner in the burlesque episode of Simpsons, where it's like, I was only there to give directions on how to get away from there. Oh, Akiyama, how I've missed you and your weird nature. As I found my feet carrying me to the front of a certain store situated just on the corner of this path, I felt awash with nostalgia. Oh, wow. Home sweet home. Oh, look, there's the little bomb. Ah, just like I remembered it. How odd it felt to be saying that again. Like I mentioned before, my family and I used to live at the bookstore. Well, okay, not on the shop floor, obviously. That'd be kind of weird. Our home was in the small set of rooms that resided above it. It was perfect for two moms and their only daughter. I don't think any men actually exist in this visual novel. But that's okay. We had 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and a single living area, along with a tiny-ass kitchen at the side, too. My grandma used to live in her own tiny house, a little ways up the ocean front, so the upper floor hasn't really been touched since we lived here, I guess. I felt a wistful pang in my heart as I reminisced about my grandma. It might be a heart attack, but it's probably just excitement, really. I wonder if it's changed much inside. I guess I'll have to start brushing up on my charm if cute ladies come in here that often. My hands placed themselves on the firm wood of the old door and changed even from when my parents were in the place. And with the small silver key Grandma sent through in her letter, I unlocked the door before me. It's so dusty. As I opened the door, all ready for a rosy, nostalgic reunion with my childhood home, I couldn't help but chuckle a little as the great waft of stale dust had hit me in the face. Ugh, damn, this place got dusty in a hurry. Guess Grandma hasn't been in here in a little while, though, now. I waved away the small cloud that billowed across my path and took a few steps inside this bookstore I knew so well. Dude, I'd love to run like a little small like hobby store. That'd be great, right? You just get to do what you love. And it was so surreal seeing it all again. So different and yet somehow so totally unchained from my memories. The dust covered every inch of the surfaces before me in a thick gray layer resting on the surfaces that surrounded me and my bags. And despite the books looking like they were thrown on the shelves with a haphazard haste, they still looked pristine and untouched. So this is the kind of stuff Grandma was selling to the locals, is it? I could see that Grandma had picked out quite a variety. Fantasy, sci-fi, historical. Now these were all erotic books. I don't know. Damn, Grandma, she really did know the right places to look. Just how long has she been wanting to run this place to accumulate such a huge selection? Well, then again, she was probably amassing stuff like this for her own amusement. Wow. As I stood here, surrounded by such a huge piece of my family's history, I found myself at a loss for words. I felt like all of the weight of what I was about to do finally hit me, all at once. Honestly, I wasn't much of the crying type. I didn't get sentimental that easily either. I accepted the ending of Mice and Men. So sad. But when I did, it always hit me like a ton of bricks, a ton of books. Standing here after all this time without my family around me and knowing my grandma wasn't here anymore, well, I'd be lying if I said it didn't make me kind of choked up, you know? It's like I'm doing this all by myself and I'll miss him. All this dust must have gotten in my eyes or something. Sure, Haruka, if you say so. It's just dust. It's just the dust. Something in my eye. After I finally got out of my own head, I spent most of the evening after just kind of wandering around the store. I found myself rambling behind the counter into the storeroom. Phone looks like it's from 1965. I'll make sure the phone was hooked up too, as I had left my cell phone back in Tokyo in my haste. Whoops. Seriously? The dust back here got in my face as I cleaned off the plastic of the phone beneath its gray layer. As I dialed up my parents to let them know I'd got here in one piece, I'd also informed them that I was currently surrounded by as many erotic books as I could ever want, which got me an earful. It's kind of weird. I mean, talking about the kind of stuff with your parents, but you know, I guess they're really open. I could never have done that. After the call, I went back to the front of my store and began flicking my way through the many different books. They were all amazing. I couldn't put half of them down, and even I found myself in an odd mixture of horny and congested, which I didn't particularly enjoy. It was no fun feeling like I wanted a hot girl to fire me whilst I spent half the time coughing over the dust. So yeah, this has streamer mode on, but there's still some naughty language. But I'm assuming it's uncensored on Steam, because this is the Steam version. So, I mean, if you buy the game and play it yourself, you'll get to see the lovely CGs. But here you will not, because obviously this is YouTube. This, you know, it's not Pornhub. Not yet. And so with a very noble goal of actually enjoying these erotic books in mind, I resolved myself that quitting tomorrow was a matter of great importance. The only thing allowed to be dirty in here is the writing, and myself, of course. I brushed clean the front covers of the books I'd picked up and placed them tentatively back onto the grubby shelves for now, without a single cough more. Credit where credit was due, though. Grandma's collection here was very impressive. She must have had some pretty good connections to be able to get this stuff in, and some of the stories weren't half bad either. I was going to have a field day pushing these to people of Akiyama. And the more I scanned through the pages of as much erotic goodness as I possibly could, the more excited I was becoming. No wonder Grandma had a small fortune to leave me in her will. What does that mean? She sold a lot of dirty books, I guess. I had a renewed sense of faith from being here. It was definitely going to be a challenge, but a new trial in an old place I already loved well. Now that just sounded like fun. I did miss my family, I'll admit, and the usual noise that would happen here, but this was going to be my life now. They wanted nothing to do with this place. So as far as I'm concerned, we're running, we're judge, jury, and executioner here. It was all up to me to decide how to approach things, how to sell people these books. I was very interested in seeing what the future held and just what kind of people I would meet. As I dawdled the rest of my evening away looking at the books and all the little bits of clutter beneath the dust, my mind began to wander along with my movement. Thoughts of the woman who frequented here entered my mind. I had been able to shake Grandma's cheeky little comment about them in her letter. Who would I meet? What would I love about them? Would they even take an interest in someone like me? And soon after those important questions, Yuki-san entered my mind again. How would they react to me coming back? I've been thinking all this time Sei would be so excited, but was I just too presumptuous? Maybe they'd be hurt that I hadn't told them, even if I did have good intentions. Sei I wasn't so worried about, given that I really did believe she'd always been happy to see me no matter what, because remember, she did see us off, the other person didn't. But Yuki, she was so cut up about me leaving. Was there any way I could mend that kind of rift? And was me coming back even the right way to do it? I hadn't come back specifically to do that, but I didn't want to leave things as they were. Oh well, you can speculate till you were blue in the face, but people are unpredictable. There's really no way to know how someone's going to feel at any particular point in time. In the perfect stillness of the bookstore before me, with its fading evening glow shimmering through the windows, I watched as the light illuminated all the tiny dust particles as they drifted without a care in the world. Watching almost in a dreamlike, contented daze. The words just tumbled out of my mouth. I'm so tired. I pinched the bridge of my nose as I squeezed my eyes shut. The exhaustion was catching up to me. Just how tired was I? I'd had a pretty emotional last couple of weeks, come to think of it, with all the gearing up for the big move and all. I guess I hadn't really processed everything that was happening to me. It's definitely time for bed. Well, guess I better check out the damage. Wonder if my old room still looks the same. The upper floor I remembered in Grandma's letter. She'd said that the apartment above would just be all mine. I guess Grandma had converted it for the ease of access while I was gallivanting around Tokyo, so one of the old bedrooms is probably a storeroom these days. Not like I needed a second one anyway. Picking up the bags I'd unceremoniously dumped beside the front door, it was time to see just where I was going to be living, and become reacquainted even further with my old home. So many memories, so many good and bad times. But the bad times in life make you appreciate the better times even more. Now all these emotions just came together to make one cozy home just for me. I'd rush back over towards the stairs behind the counter, and even that filled me with a hint of heavy dose of nostalgia. I remember running up these staircases every day after school, eager to settle in and watch my favorite shows or to play a video game. Anything besides doing homework, of course. With a smile, I began to tread against the protesting floorboards beneath my feet. Am I that out of shape? As I climbed up the stairs with all my worldly belongings at either side of my hips, I found myself much more out of breath than I'd been expecting. Maybe the dust really had gone down my throat after all. I definitely need to start cleaning tomorrow. I found myself chuckling as my foot creaked against a floorboard I knew all too well. Oh, fifth step, you little bastard. Always getting me caught when I want to sneak out at night. Gah! Eventually, after much heaving and protesting from the floorboards beneath my feet, my bag slammed down hard against the floor of the hallway I knew like the back of my hand. Whew. Welcome home to me. I had a little wander around my childhood home, lugging my bags through the rest of the apartment. Wasn't quite as hard as I'd been anticipating. Used as a storeroom these days, the living room was much like the downstairs, minus the mountains of dust the shop floor had going for it. I wouldn't be going in there anytime soon. The kitchen could do with a bit of a scrub, but that's no problem. The spare bedroom had even more junk in it, but a lot of it was left over from when my parents and I still lived there. And then we came to my room. Situated overlooking the ocean front outside, I was very thankful my grandma hadn't touched too much in here. Kind of small, but it's not like I need to slide the door over for privacy anymore, I suppose. There was, as promised, a bed waiting for me. It looked like my old frame and pillows but had a brand new mattress on top. I was lucky that the plastic was still around the mattress because, to quote Grandma, it was really dusty as hell. The curtains that I once had were still here, untouched and unmoved. There was that same shoddy-looking corkboard that had been put up behind my bed to keep the headboard more sturdy. And the tiny balcony at the side looked just as relaxing as ever behind the bug net. But the floorboards looked like they could do with the clean, and the rug that rests beneath my bed looked like it needed a severe vacuuming too. This to-do list gets longer and longer. I just wanted to sell dirty books, damn it, now I have to work. If I'd known there'd be this much cleaning, I would have thought twice about returning here. I'm just kidding, obviously. At least I think I am. Yeah, I'm kidding. But that marked the end of my first day's exploration. I cracked open the window with a hard push of the sliding panel, unsticking it from its weathered waiting of my return. The air began to circulate more in here, and I flopped back onto the plastic of the bed with a loud crinkle. I stared up at the familiar old ceiling I found myself looking at so often, and rested my arm against my forehead. Just like old times, huh? Felt so comfortable laying like this, even against the plastic. That's how you know a bed has the most extreme comfiness. With the light gently peeking in from behind my curtains as I watched the afternoon fade into the evening. It was the most perfect, cozy ambience it could have been. My tired eyes began to close as the gentle breeze of Akiyama kept floating through my window. I should probably close that. My mind was making sense, but I was just so drowsy. And eventually, fully clothed and still on my plastic-covered, slightly dusty bed, I fell asleep. What the hell? As I shot up right in bed, I heard a huge bang reverberated from downstairs. That definitely came from the shop, no doubt about it. What the fuck? What was that? That wasn't anything I was familiar with. I tentatively heaved myself off the bed, trying not to crinkle the plastic wrap too much, and stepped onto the floor. I was alarmed to say the least, and my heart was pounding from the adrenaline of being scared half to death. What was that? Was I being burgled on my first night? No, surely not. This place had been empty for months. Why now? Maybe someone saw me come in? I guess I should go and check it out, but what if it's someone armed? Of all the ways to start my time back here. My mind was racing, and my eyes were bleary from pinging open so suddenly. I felt completely panicked. What should I do? Should I call the cops? Shit, no. I had my cell phone at home, and the only other phone in the building was downstairs. I was pretty strong now, but if coming up the stairs was a thing to go by, I could certainly stand to work out a little bit more. Maybe the burglar will be more out of shape than I am. Damn it! My eyes scanned all over the room for something to use. It was pretty cleared out of anything that could be considered a weapon. Okay, it was virtually cleared out of everything. I began to realize with a sense of unshakable dread that it looked like my fists were going to be the only option. You gotta be kidding me. Damn it! I rolled up my jacket sleeves and gathered all the courage I could muster. It was do or die. I wasn't about to let this Mr. Store my childhood home be robbed like this. Whoever they were, I could hear them walking around. There was definitely someone downstairs. Their footsteps were loud and bold, as though they were intending for anyone here to come down and challenge them. What a jerk, right? I felt myself becoming more angry than I was scared. How dare someone think they could just treat me like this? This is my house, and it's not open to people looking to rob me blind. Swinging open the door, I was full of courage and fury. I stomped to the foot of the stairs before fear reared its ugly head once more, because I'd heard them moving toward the staircase too. Shit. I cursed in a panic and ducked behind the corner as I hit on the landing of my store. And as they began to emerge, get the fuck out of... Stay back, you shitty burglar, or I'll... Wait, what? Sitting before me was a sight I didn't expect to see, at least not quite so soon. Say? Haruka! Oh my god! With a look of bewilderment and fear, clutching a baseball bat that hung against her shoulder. Instead of a hardened criminal, I was so relieved to be greeted with one of my lifelong friends staring right back at me. I could see it all over her face. Even in the dark, that safe felt the exact same to me. Her knuckles were white, as were mine, from balling up my hands into fists so hard. Our breathing was ragged and our minds were spinning. All this for someone we both known for decades. Holy shit, Say, what the hell are you doing here? Well, I could ask you the same question. Oh my god, Haruka, it's so good to see you again. Dropping her bat abruptly with a clutter of wood against wood, Say and I rushed into each other's arms. We both couldn't help but laugh. We were a mess of trembling, sudden adrenaline and disbelief. It was such a strange, indescribable feeling of both relief and total amusement of the situation. All of my pent-up energy had nowhere to go, and the courage that Sei had displayed was something that really I found quite noble. What on earth are you doing here? And at this time of night, too, shouldn't you? Hey, I'll be asking the questions around here. What are you even doing back? I laughed to myself as Sei prodded my shoulder with a hard poke of her finger. Ow, well, it's a funny story. Okay, it's not that funny. My grandma died. You jerk, you didn't even tell me. Hey, I wanted to surprise you. Is that such a crime? Well, you certainly did that. Holy crap, Haruka. You have any idea how much bravado and insanity it took to race in here? You shouldn't put up a sign. You should have put up a sign, a big decorative sign that said, I, Haruka Mishima, am back in town with all my studly glory. I'm sure that would have gone down well. I just got back like 5 hours ago. Give me a break. I was tired. You're so silly. You should have called. Her nostalgic, warm smiles came across our faces as the adrenaline began to calm down between us. Oh, Sei, she really did look just like I thought she would. Still handsome, still cute, still slightly shorter than I am, still wearing that same cheeky smile that seemed to have a permanent spot on her face. Along with the kindness in her eyes that always relaxed me too. We're at 26 minutes? Yeah, okay. Couldn't help but feel my heart flutter a little and actually getting to see her again. It felt kind of strange to admit, but still, I mean, it's Sei. Accidentally crushed my MP3 player with her ass in high school, Sei. I shouldn't be feeling like that. Maybe it was just all the excitement of having a sudden visitor, but she sure was handsome these days. Felt like I was ecstatic, being so suddenly reunited with one of the most important people in my life. And the way she was grinning right at me, I was relieved to find that she was feeling was mutual. Sei placed her hands on my upper arms as I held her in my own, and she shook her head in confusion. What the hell happened, Haruka? I never expected to see you back here. I think the better question is, what were you doing here in the red light district past 12, young lady? It is past midnight, isn't it? Hey, I had a game run late. I don't just make a habit of carrying around a bat with me, you know? I'm not a delinquent. Really, what kind of paranoid punk do you think I am? Nah, but for real. I usually walk home this way from the field. Besides, I've never known the district to be dangerous. It's just kind of horny, right? I don't know. I bet you get some seedy fucking people in these kind of areas, you know? You don't get the cream of the crop is what I'm saying. She had a point. I hadn't even noticed in the hubbub of the ensuing chaos that she even had a bag on her back. Were you planning to rob the store? I recognize that backpack as being her one that, even back in the day, often carried a baseball outfit. That's true. I've never known the Akiyama locals to actively be dangerous in that regard. Thank God, too. I love taking long walks on the beach, as we all know. I couldn't be doing with hardened criminals ruining my romantic fantasies. You're just a regular walking date advertisement, huh? Hey, there's nothing better than a walk along the beach and a drink down your throat, am I wrong? Absolutely not. As Sei chuckled to herself, she was met with an unfortunate fate. That is to say, she inhaled some of the dust that was still floating around on the shop floor. Haruka, it's dusty as hell in here. Oh, yeah, I know. I almost died when I got in earlier. God, what are you doing back here even? Well, actually, you know what? Hold that thought. Come and crash at my place tonight. Huh? Are you sure? Are you kidding? Do you know how long I've been waiting to say that again? I missed you, you dork. Aw, you're such a sweetie, Sei. Stop being an ass. Do you want to stay at my place or not? I want to hear every last detail of this little trip of yours, and I refuse to do it in this place as it is now. I mean, of course I'd love to, but is it alright with your mom? Oh, her? And no, don't worry about her. She's fine. You know my mom. She's crazy about you. Damn, that's what I like to hear. She's still smoking hot as ever, eh? Oh, is it the route where we get with her mom? You could just call me mommy. Weird. I hate you so much. Sorry. If she has a Sprite, that's definite yes, right? If it's really no problem, I'd love to. Oh, I'm hungry. Wait, hold on, Haruka. Have you eaten anything? Well, a wry smile came across my face, and in turn, an annoying smile came across Sei's as well. Here it comes, the classic exchange we haven't shared in years. Well, I have been eating plenty of... Say his finger quickly darted to my lips. If you say you've been eating cats, I'm going to actually kill you for real. Okay, eating pussy. Okay, what am I saying? Why am I trying to make this PG? Like, it's not PG. This game is not a PG game. But that's all my food pyramid consists of. This game's horny as hell. Guess I shouldn't be surprised. Anyway, besides that, have you actually eaten anything? I grimaced guiltily. No, I don't think so. Actually, I don't remember the last time I ate. Damn, how much of a nervous wreck have I been inside about coming back here? All this time I thought I was just purely excited about it, but I guess I've been even more nervous than I thought. Come on, let's get you something good to eat, alright? Thanks, Say. Sorry to give you such a fright like that. Oh, dog's barking, I'm so sorry. God, you really did. I was shitting my pants when I saw that your window was open. I walk past this place so often that I've gotten used to looking at it being all closed up. Oh, she probably came in because she thought someone broke in. Before we talk anymore, though, let's get out of this place. All this dust is clogging my nose. Do you even have a bed here? I do, but all the plastic was still covering it, so... You slob. I'll sleep on top of it like that. Hey, I'm not a slob. Birds of a feather flock together, right? Never said I wouldn't have done the same. Come on, let's get some food and go back to my place. I say, pat me on the shoulders, wiping off bits of the aforementioned dust I must have fallen asleep on. She picked up her baseball bat from the ground afterwards and began walking down the stairs. It's time for some even more nostalgic living. Couldn't say that that was exactly how I expected tonight to go, but I was privately very grateful. You know, I've been feeling a little lonesome since I got here, to say the least. Let alone how much I was thinking about both her and Yuki. To have a companion to have a companion tonight, sexual otherwise, was more than welcome. Especially if it came in the form of one of my best friends. Aww, look at that transition. Aww. I wonder if more people will show up. Wait, what? Wait, hang on. Wait, what happened? Can I go back? I can't. Oh yeah, I can. I missed what she said. Is this the title? Okay, just title. Okay. Well, alright. Well, that's gonna be it for this video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. If you do enjoy it, leave a like. This is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday upload, so 3 times a week. I'll do quick looks sprinkled in somewhere. You know, I just kind of upload those whenever I feel like it. Whenever they become available, you know. Try to be on that quick as I can. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it so far. I like the premise. The plot seems pretty awesome. The characters seem really cool so far too. I mean, obviously we'll see more characters as we go along. And that'll be fun. I like the camaraderie. And yeah, and that'll be it. I'll see you next time. Have a good day, everybody. And as always, take care.